welcome back. It's been a long old time since I've spoke to you last. I think it's been about 4 weeks since I've filmed a video. You'll have to bear with me if I seem out of it. I'm currently on medication. I am in a lot of pain and I have been for weeks, probably about 7 or 8 weeks with my arm. We're working on it as if I've got a trapped nerve there. I can't tell you how painful it is. And I have got a high pain threshold. I've dealt with pain for years, so I know it must be pretty bad. So the tablets I'm on are making me really drowsy. So if you can hear it in my voice, if I don't seem all there, it's because of this, and I apologise. But I thought if I don't come on now, I'll get so out of touch with making the videos. Sam from GriffReads has kindly picked my books for me this month, so I'm determined to film this video before the 1st of September. So bear with me. That was a long old intro. I also have done some rolls for Becca's Bookoplathon, so I will not show you me doing the rolls. I've already done them. I used the board in my notebook that I used for Bookoplathon last time. I just scribbled through the squares and put the new ones that were on there in, so it looks a bit of a mess, so that's why I'm not showing you that. So first I will tell you that my August TBR I've done rubbish with. My sister chose 4 books for me. I've only read 1 so far, and that's not anything to do with her options. It's because of what I felt like reading while I'm going through this pain. I've just picked books that I just feel like at the time. I've actually only read 1 of the Scrabble letters. Bookoplathon kind of took over, and not Bookoplathon, the Royal Readathon kind of took over, and so I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I've done 6 or 7 of those prompts so far out of 10. So I've been kind of making the books that I really want to read fit into those. So I've done well in terms of that. I didn't do my July wrap up from the India Code Readathon and any extra I read that month. I'm going to carry that across, and I'm going to do a July and August wrap up because I really don't feel like wrapping that up at the minute. The only issue then is I don't know if I'll remember any of the July books, but we'll see. So I'm going to, for Scrabble and Sam, Sam's picked 4 books, but she'll talk about a bit later. I'm going to pick out 6 Scrabble letters, so that's 10, which is what I'm trying to read each month now. But then, as a punishment for not doing, then I've done 5. Well, I did 4 rolls of Bookoplathon. I got a double, so I've picked 5 prompts for that as well. I've not picked them, I rolled them. So we'll go with the Scrabble letters first. I'll pick out 6, and then I will go and look what I've got. So we've got I. We've got B. Oh, I don't think I've had B before. We've got N. We've got E. We've got S. Just one more. Oh, we've got E. I thought we weren't going to get any doubles, and we've had a few E's before. So I will stop you here. I will go and have a look what I've got, and then I'll come back. Right, so I've had a look. I think I've got what I'm getting for now. So for I'm going with the inheritance games again. I'll put a link up, a picture up of the book here. That was one that I had for my Scrabble and Sister TBR in August and didn't get around to. For B, I am going for the book club. Did I pick that one up? Just bear with me. I'm going for the book club by C.G. Cooper. It said, everyone is hiding a secret, one of them is murder. The book club was her idea, of course. It was her way into our group, a chance to get close. I knew from the day she arrived that she couldn't be trusted, and I was right, because Alice didn't come to the village for peace and quiet, she came for revenge. So I am going with the book club. Then for N, I'm going for 9 Months in Tibet by Rupert Wolfe-Murray. I got this in the sale at Waterstones at some point. He describes Tibet through the characters he meets there, a diverting collection of whimsical intellectuals, shifty government officials, rapacious landlords, generous lorry drivers, and entertaining dropouts. It's about a Scotsman going out into the world with only his inner resources. He's brave and adventurous, but he's also naive, which is interesting as we all start out from a place of ignorance. He admits that he knows nothing, all as All he has are his eyes, his ears, and an open heart, the most important thing in a notebook. So you know I love travel non-fiction. I've had this on my book on my pile for ages. It just puts me off because it's quite thick and the writing's quite small, but I need to get round to it. So there's that one. E, my first E, I've gone for Enough Already. It says, this is by Mary Hargreaves. It says, Bryony's life is a mess. It's time she did something about it. So she basically, what made it appeal to me is at some point it says, when everything comes to a head with colossal panic attack, she signed off work for a month on mental health annual leave. And it says she goes to a social anxiety support group in order to deal with her issues. I do struggle with social anxiety, so I thought this might appeal to me, so we'll give that one a go, pick that up from the library. Then S, I've gone for a book called The Soup Movement by Ben Davis. I picked this up from the middle grade section at my library. It says, when Jordan finally gets invited to go to the chippy at lunch with the cool kids, he feels stupid carrying around a flask of mum's homemade soup. He decides instead to give it to a homeless man called Harry. It's this one small act of kindness that leads to a host of new friendships and a movement of good deeds across the community. But there's, hello Treacle. But there's one life-changing gift that will trump all these deeds. So I just liked the sound of that. I thought the cover looked really cool, so I'm giving that one a go. Excuse Treacle, she's just having a nose. She'll move in a minute. And then for the other E, I'm going for the Strange Worlds Travel Agency, Edge of the Ocean. Are you going to move, Treacle, or are you just going to stay there? Come and sit on my knee. Go on then, you sit there. Excuse the bum. So this is the second in the Strange World Travel Agency by L.D. Lipinski. I think I give the first one 3 stars. So this one is about, Flick is now a badge-wearing member of the Strange World Society. So when an agent, don't put your bum in the camera. When an agent summons arrives from the world of the break, she and Strange World's guardian Jonathan immediately hop into a suitcase to take them there. The break is a flat water world filled with unpredictable mer people, mysterious water creatures, and enormous ships sailed by frightening pirates, and it's shrinking. The edge of the ocean is coming ever closer. The people of the break need to leave in soon. But how do you sail a ship through a suitcase or rescue a mer queen the size of a blue whale? Will Flick and Jonathan be able to find a way before time runs out? So I thought that sounded really good. So they're my 6. So that was IBNESE, and I've managed to fit in one from last month, which is fab. So then I will go through the prompts that I got for Becca's Bookoplathon this month. So the first roll I did, I got 2 2s, obviously, which is 4, but it's a double. So I got TBR Vet, and I decided to go with, this will be a surprise to no one because it's been in a million TBRs, Dodger by Terry Pratchett. I've said this a million times. My uncle gave it to me, thought I'd like it. I've never got round to it. It's like a sci-fi historical, you know, it's set in the time of Oliver Twist, like Victorian London. I'm determined to do it. I've had it for so long. I'm dying to tell him what I think of it. This is going to be the month that I do this. In fact, I might even try and start with this one so that I definitely know I'm going to finish it. So that's my TBR vet prompt. Then I rolled a 3 and a 2, so I got 5, and I got the prompt monsters. So one of the things that it said in the information that she gave us was that monsters could be like a villain. So I have gone for A Whole New World, which is the retelling of Aladdin. It's by Liz Braswell, and I thought, well, Jafar is definitely going to be in it, and he's a villain, so I'm going with that. Then I rolled a 6 and a 4. So obviously that's 10. I don't know why I'm telling you what they add up to, but anyway. And it got the prompt current events, and it did say that could be a non-fiction. So I am going for How to Be Fine by Jolenta Greenberg and Kristin Meinzer. What we learned from living by the rules of 50 self-help books. I have listened to their podcast, not all the way through in every book, but I really enjoyed it. It's not that big, and I love self-help books, so I want to see how they get on. Then I rolled a 4 and a 1, which is obviously 5, and I got read a spooky book for this. It could be a thriller, so I've put one in from last month that I didn't get round to, which is The Dinner Guest. I'll put a picture up of it here. So I'm definitely going to read that one. And then finally I rolled a 6 and a 4, and I got, which is obviously 10, and I got, which was LGBTQ plus rep. Now I have got a book in mind for this, but it's a book that somebody's picked out for me for my booktube anniversary video. which I haven't put together yet, but it's going up on the 31st of August. So for that reason, I'm not going to tell you now what it is, but when you see that video, you'll know what it is, because the person said it's got fab bisexual representation in it. So as soon as you see that person mention that, you'll know that that's the book that I'm picking for this part of Bookoplathon. Sorry, I'm so drowsy today. So now I'm going to Now I'm going to pass over to Sam, and she will let you know the 4 books that she has chosen for me.
Hi Helen, hope you're doing good. Thank you for asking me to pick some books for your September TBR. I thought that I would just crack on and go through the 4 books that I've chosen. The first one I don't think is going to be a surprise, and that is One by One by Ruth Ware. I feel like we've been talking about buddy reading this book for a really long time, and so it's going to be good to finally get round to it. This is, I believe, a mystery about a group of work colleagues who go away on this company retreat to this ski lodge, and I think that there's an avalanche and they end up getting snowed in, and then someone starts killing them off one by one, and so it's sort of a cozy murder mystery. I know that you've read one of Ruth Ware's other books. I think you read it earlier this year, and I think that you enjoyed it. I've read one of Ruth Ware's other books and really enjoyed that, and so I thought it would be interesting to see what we both think of this. The second book that I've chosen for you, again, I don't think is going to be a surprise, and that is All the Lonely People by Mike Gale. I know that you've read a couple of Mike Gale's books, and I know that you really like his writing, and this is one of my favourite books of the year. I read it a few months ago and it was so heartwarming and it made me cry, and yeah, I think that you're going to really enjoy it too. It basically follows this older man who I think is in his 80s, and he speaks to his daughter every week on the phone. His daughter lives in Australia and she doesn't know that he's actually very, very lonely. He has very little contact with other people, and then she surprises him by saying that she's coming over for a visit, and so it forces him to put himself out there and get out of his comfort zone and meet people and make friends. The third book that I picked was The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett, and this was one of my favourite books that I read last year, so I'd be really interested to see what you think of it, because I think it is one of those books that does really, really make you think. I found the story really, really interesting. I think this is categorised as historical fiction because it starts in around the 1970s, I think, or it might even be earlier than that, and it follows these twin sisters who grew up in this southern black community. However, they are very light-skinned to the point where they could pass for being white, and they run away from home when they're 16 and end up going in very different directions because one of the twins decides to marry a white man and she starts living her life as a white woman, whereas the other twin marries a dark-skinned man and she ends up moving back home right at the very start of the book, and so you see the way that their lives become very, very different. It is quite a slow-paced book and it's very character-driven, but I found it so interesting, like I might have said, and I'd be really interested to see what you think of it too. The final book I've chosen is The Couple by Helly Acton, and I haven't actually read this book yet. I'm pretty sure that it came out earlier this year and it doesn't have many reviews or ratings on Goodreads yet. I read another book by this author last year called The Shelf, and I did really enjoy it. I really liked the writing. There was a few things that I didn't quite like. I had very, very mixed thoughts on it, and so I'd be really interested to see what you think of this. Like I might have said, I haven't seen many reviews for this, but the plot sounds really interesting because I think it's set in a future where romantic relationships are no longer the norm. So most people don't actually get into couples and they don't actually develop romantic relationships. I think it also follows a woman who works for this company that are launching this pill that stops people from falling in love, and so it sounds like it's going to be a really interesting read, and I'd be really interested to hear what you think of it and whether you think that it's a book that I should add to my TBR. So yeah, those are the 4 books that I've chosen. I really hope that you do enjoy them all. Thanks again for asking me to pick some books for your TBR this month, and I will speak to you soon. Bye.
So I am so happy with those choices that Sam's picked for me. One by One by Ruth Ware is the one that Sam kindly gifted to me back in, I think it was around Christmas last year, and it was always one that I was going to read along with Sam. We just weren't sure, when we were going to fit it in. And so I knew that I was going to do a Scrabble and Sam, but that was pegged for like June or July time, and I had to keep pushing it back. So finally, we are going to read this one together. So I'm excited for that one. Then she mentioned All the Lonely People by Mike Gale. I love Mike Gale. She knows this. I actually picked a Mike Gale book for her. I picked The Man I Think I Know for her. Was it a booktube anniversary? I think so. She had to ask, I think about 6 of us to pick books for her, and so I picked All the Man I Think I Know, and it did make her cry. I think she gave it 4 stars, and she did really enjoy it. So the fact that she's picked All the Lonely People, I'm so excited about, and I can't wait to read that. Then she picked The Vanishing Half by Brit Bennett. I've had this on my Kindle for ages. I was so excited when it came out to read it. I keep forgetting what's on my Kindle, and every time I see it, I think, yeah, I'm going to read that, I'm going to read that. And it's never come up on my TBR, the letter. I've never picked it, and it's just never fell into anything. So I made up she's picked it for me because this will make me read it. And then the final one is The Couple by Helly Acton. I loved The Shelf by Helly Acton. I know that Sam had mixed feelings about it, but I absolutely loved it. This has been on my shelf for a while. I love that concept of that. Whereas normally people are like, oh, you're single, it seems to be the norm that people ask you, when do you think you'll meet somebody? When do you think you'll get married? When do you think, all the time? And actually people look at you as if, oh, you've been single for a long time, as if that's not how it should be. Whereas this book totally flips that on its head, and it's like, oh, you're in a couple. Oh, everybody's very independent by the looks of it in this book. I'm sorry, I can't. So yeah, I am determined to read this because I got it out of the library as soon as it came in, and I just haven't gone for it. Look how shiny that is. So yeah, really excited to try that. So there are the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15 that I'm reading. I'm also going to be taking part in Rachel Kerris's Books and Me. I think that one's going to be Dial A for Aunties, but I'm not sure. I've got it on Audible, so there's that one. I am also going to be buddy reading another book, probably a middle grade one, with Jessica from Lady Lovestead. So there's that. And I can't remember which one we decided on for this month, so I'm going to be doing that one. I'm behind on the buddy read for Scythe because I didn't read Scythe this month. So I'm going to have to probably do catch up with that. Yeah, so I'm a bit all over the place at the moment, and who's to say this will even go ahead in terms of how good I'll be reading the books. But what I've learned from this month is just picked up what I felt like, and that's felt really nice as well. So I figure with these TBRs now, instead of feeling pressurised, I know I shouldn't feel pressurised from other people, and nobody makes me feel that way, but I feel like because I've put it out there that I should be reading them, and actually this is just a guide of trying to get me to pull ones off my shelf and read them, because really I should be trying to save money instead of spending on books all the time, spend too much. So this is a guide, and then if I end up going off it, especially recently, I've just been picking what I want most of the time because I'm so drowsy. I just have to pick stuff that I know I can just pick up and drop whenever I feel like it's going to be easy to pick back up again. So yeah, so sorry if this was a bit rambly and a bit dozy and all over the place, but I thought let's get a video in there because I haven't filmed for 4 weeks. I'm going to get to the point where I'm going to get out of it and never get back into it again. Like I said, July and August wrap up will be together. Even if I have to wrap September's up with it, I'll do that. My booktube anniversary video will go up on the 31st of August because that is the day that I filmed my first ever booktube video. That was Becca's Bookoplathon. I just thought now, my first ever video that I put up was Becca's Bookoplathon. Sure it was. Or at least the wrap up of it, or the TBR of it, I can't remember. So there's that, and then I'll just see where I go from there. So thank you for bearing with me. Hopefully it won't be too long before you hear from me again. Goodbye from Trico, who is just enjoying the time. I have been staying with my mum and dad and my sister while Andy's away at the moment for help with childcare while I've been feeling poorly and having to take different medications and stuff. So I've come back today to check on Treacle, and she's ever so glad of it, as you can probably hear from the parent. So I will speak soon, and hopefully I will be in a much better place when you hear from me next. Bye.